What's up, everybody? Hey, it's Drew here with Craftshow. So we've started going down this path of doing this documentary on bike packing, and so we're just going to throw that stuff up on the channel because there's a lot of bike packing guys and gals and persons out there that enjoy it, and they might be interested, but you guys might be interested from a gear standpoint because we're schlepping all this crap into the woods with us and looking like idiots doing so when you think you know hand signals on how to land a drone. Anyway, I'm just going to jump into the video, but that's what it is. It is bike packing gear in, and I'll show you some cool footage, all shot on something else. And I apologize in advance. I did vlog off my cell phone.
The Craftshow bike for this doco we're doing. This is beta test 1.0. Shoot on my cell phone because I've already packed the cameras. I don't feel like unpacking them. Up front, we have a tripod. We just have it in a Rock Bros roll bag. And so it's just like a small Manfrotto that we have. It is a fluid head, just because some of these shots, I think, work better that way. Then my phone will mount up here if I need it for whatever reason. And then we're doing, we have a Thule, I forget which packing something model, but it lets it go from this bike, or it could go onto my other mountain bike as well. And then we have two Rhino Walk, or whatever they are, panniers off Amazon specials. We're testing them before we buy anything crazier. So I have a yellow and a black so that I can kind of separate gear and know where stuff is. So inside the yellow, we have a Mavic Air 2S in its bag until I figure out something better. I have the 7200 Canon, and then in here we have one of our favorite lenses, especially for shooting bike stuff, which is a Tokina. You can see it there. It's a Tokina 11 to 20. It's one of their cinema lenses, and it is phenomenal for bike work. So it kind of all just packs into this guy. I don't think I can pack one-handed. Now, inside of this other one, inside the black bag, is basically just cameras, so the bodies themselves. So inside of here is a Pocket 6K plus a GH5, and I didn't bring the S because this isn't a low light thing, but I think when we're doing the other parts of the dock, we'll be having a GH5S inside because of the ISO stuff, or Sony A7 III's, we don't know yet, but that's where we're going. And then for the Blackmagic Pocket, we have this gimmick, which the camera will mount up top, and I can shoot it kind of handheld. The thing about the 6K Pro that's so delightful is it has an eyepiece so that you don't have to carry extra stuff, and I only have to carry ND because of the way it works out. So the total weight on the back is about 28 pounds, I'd say 27 pounds. It's supposed to be 25, but I'm not super concerned. It's somewhere right around it, so I had to be very thoughtful of how I packed everything. I didn't want to just loosey-goosey put it in. So there's also padding in the bottom of both of these that I added. And then, again, the camera's riding in this, and the lenses, I think, are pretty safe. We'll see. It's a beta test. We don't know. So that's pre-ride, and then I'll jump back on my phone here, and we'll see post-ride. Yeah, I know you guys are used to better quality, but when the camera gear's already packed, you got to deal with the phone. All right, so again, I'm vlogging off my phone because my cameras are packed up in the panniers. You saw the earlier footage. I showed you a little bit of the footage we shot. And so now I'm headed back out to kind of field test this again. So the idea here is that we want to be able to bring in a decent amount of equipment into the woods with us on a bike packing documentary trip that we're doing. And one of the challenges is just figuring out how to make it easy. There are definitely some spots that are sketch, and so this trail I'm riding, it's kind of a training trail. It's more of a public park. But I imagine I rode it the other day, and it actually gave a pretty good example. Look at that sketchiness of how narrow that pass is. So with the panniers on, I was a little nervous that I would hit the trees, but it was all right. Went through it. I did have to foot off pedal and kind of ride the wall, but it was pretty cool. But again, one of those things you got to think about, I guess, when carrying all this gear through. You also, I guess, can't be too precious with gear either, because mosquitoes.
One of the things that we wanted to make sure of is that the drone, and this is the Mavic Air 2S, by the way, could follow us through the woods. And so one way we approached that was I just decided to dummy test it. Now I'm on double track, so it's a wider path. But for the bikepacking stuff, this is typically what we want to see. I don't know if I'd use it on single track and going downhill. But as you can see, right about here, it actually dodges this tree hanging out. I was a little nervous about it. It moves out of the way, and this is fully automatic, and it's chasing me, ducking down below trees because this is a fairly decent amount of canopy. It's pretty impressive. I knew that the wide shots would work when we did those pieces, but inside of the woods, I wasn't sure how the canopy would do, and it's pretty awesome.
All right, so here's another interesting thing. Lesson learned on this idea plan is that, you know, when it rains, or in general, it gets dirty. And so a lot of the gear, as you can see, got dirt. So even my hands are a bit mucky. I just add some air to my tire. So my point in bringing that up is if I were to go in and grab gear and want to set up, I need to think through that as well, because suddenly you've got like really dirty hands and a lot of it's sandy and silty, and you're putting that next to cameras. That just seems like a bad idea. Also, bad ideas, speaking of which, check this out. That seems good. You had one job.